Hi, I'm Dr. Joseph Marbach. At Georgian Court University, we're committed to educating the public about the importance of higher education and its impact on our communities. That's why we're proud to support the important educational programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of Caucus, New Jersey has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, the Fidelco Group, ADP, a comprehensive provider of human resources technology and services, Adler Aphasia Center, helping stroke and brain injury survivors recover their speech, the Northward Center, Georgian Court University, and by MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by bestofnj.com, covering all NJ has to offer, and by hipnewjersey.com. Live hard, work hard, play hard. You're from New Jersey, and so are we.
Hi, this is Steve Adubato. Welcome to a very special half hour. You're about to meet some extraordinary people. They don't seek attention, they don't want attention, but they deserve our recognition and our respect. This is the 21st year of the Russ Berrie Making a Difference Award, honoring New Jersey heroes. The people you meet do extraordinary things. They give of themselves. They change people's lives. They don't do it for recognition. They don't do it for money. But I'm confident that you will be inspired, you'll be motivated, you'll be changed in this half hour, and hopefully you too will ask yourself how you can make a difference in the life of someone else. This half hour is going to make a big difference. We've just concluded this extraordinary event, the 21st annual Russ Berrie Making a Difference Awards, and our $35,000 winners, and I am pretty sure they were surprised when it happened. Kurt and Tricia Baker, their organization, Attitudes in Reverse, otherwise known as AIR, very special organization, two great people. Your reaction, first of all, before we talk about the award, could you tell folks exactly who may not know what the organization is and why you started it?
After we lost our son to suicide in 2009, we understood that there were so many young people out there who were struggling, who were afraid to ask for help. They were embarrassed. 25% of young people have some sort of mental health disorder, and that could be depression and suicidal ideation. Less than 40% actually ask for help. So we wanted to let young people know that it's okay to talk and it's okay to ask for help.
You know, the one thing that really struck me, and I said this when I was moderating today, hosting the event, is that so many people who are recognized at this event do what they do in some way it came out of a tragedy. How clear was it to both of you that this is what you needed to do, and because you didn't have to?
Right. Yeah, what really motivated us was we actually had the blessing that we actually knew Kenny was struggling with a mental health disorder, and we spent about 3.5 years trying to assist him. And when you're in the throes as a family trying to help a child with a mental health disorder, you're literally fighting the system, you're fighting for your child's life. And when he did pass away, we knew it had to be our mission to advocate and help those parents and those children who do not have the time or the energy or the ability to go out and advocate for themselves. Somebody has to do it for them. And that's what we pledged to do for the rest of our life, is advocate for those who are struggling, and the youth especially, and their parents, so we don't lose more children, and we don't have more children incarcerated, we don't have more homelessness. It just ripples through society in so many ways, mental health. And we're on kind of the cutting edge of that. And there's a lot of hope out there. We want to make sure the kids that are struggling are aware that they don't have to feel that way, and that there is hope that they can feel better someday.
What do you see in terms of the mental health stigma, and what makes you think it's getting better?
When you talk to young people, they want to have that conversation. I think it's our generation that is still not quite sure what to do with the topic. They're still embarrassed. They still think that if you talk to young people about mental health issues or suicide, you put the idea in their head.
We're somehow encouraging it.
Exactly, exactly. But what we do, when we talk to kids, we feel we're giving them permission to ask for help. And you can see it after a presentation. We get so many young people coming up and saying, thank you. You know, I've never knew I could tell anybody about this. And, you know, again, we get a lot of young people saying, thank you, that, you know, I've been able to go get help now and used to help save our life.
So this is particularly for parents right now. Many of us who question exactly how to talk to our kids, whether we should talk to our kids. Talk to parents right now who are struggling, who are confused and very fearful.
Well, yeah, being a parent is very difficult because they don't give us a manual when we have a newborn on how to deal with a child, and so they have a mental health disorder. When they grow older, we don't know what the signs and symptoms are. In fact, my wife and I became youth mental health and first aid instructors, which is an 8-hour course that helps teach parents about what those signs and symptoms are and how to talk to the children and how to, in their language, so to speak, and try to better understand what's actually happening in life and encourage them to get help. And you have to open up a dialogue with the children, and you have to build their trust that you're going to help them and not somehow judge them, so to speak, because that's what happens very quickly, because sometimes we're looking at the symptoms and we're not really focusing on the underlying cause of those symptoms and what's actually happening, why maybe the child doesn't want to go to school, why they don't want to do their homework, why they're not performing at the level that you would hope they would perform, because all parents want your children to perform well, and when that's not happening, how do you respond to that? Well, I think it's a better strategy to try to understand why is the child not performing to their best, because nobody wants to fail. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, gee, I'm going to go fail today. Everybody wants to succeed, and those who are not succeeding, there's a reason. And we need to understand the reason, and we can help them. And that's the key for everybody to understand, is there is help, and it's getting better all the time. We're doing a lot of research, and much is happening to improve the whole situation.
That's interesting. There was a video that introduced this very extraordinary couple. And in the video, you were saying that there are times that you say, why are we doing this? You know, obviously you're not getting paid. Long hours, not a lot of vacation time. Today, what did it mean when your name was announced as the $35,000 winners?
I don't know if I can find words to say what it meant. It's overwhelming. It's humbling, you know, because we're doing what we do just because it's something that needs to get done, and to be recognized it's just so humbling. And you know, it's an honor to be here with so many other wonderful people and to hear all their inspiring stories as well, and to be part of this group is just, again, there's no words. And I just want to be, you know, very grateful and say thank you to the Russ Berrie Foundation, because it's wonderful that they do this for people. It's just, it makes you feel a little bit more uplifting. So on those days when it's like, why do I do this again? You know, it just is a way to remember that there are people who appreciate what we do, who are saying thank you.
It is a good day, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, it's a good day, because just the wonder, as my wife was saying, the wonderful people in this room, the networking opportunities, the awareness of the organization is lifted because of Russ Berrie and his reputation as being a philanthropist and helping others, and what his real core beliefs are. And that's like in anything. If you take your passion and you go with that, you're going to be successful. And having somebody like Russ Berrie basically shoulder to shoulder helping us to spread the word about the organization, about what we're trying to do to help youth and their families, that's just one more way to get it out there and help more people and have more people live more productive and happy lives.
We're here with a very special young lady, two special young ladies. This is Kiersten Miles and Talia. And I just met Talia, and Kiersten, you are being honored here. Will you just tell a little bit about your story together?
Sure. So I started babysitting her just as a summer job last June, so about a year ago. And I knew going into it that she had biliary atresia, so she needed a new liver. She was on the liver transplant list. And going into it, I didn't even know you could donate part of your liver. And I guess like a couple weeks, I'd been babysitting her, and I knew my blood type was type O, and I just looked it up, and it didn't really seem like that big of a sacrifice. So I got tested, and it took a couple months to go through all the testing, and in January we had the transplant.
You gave a part of your liver to Talia.
Yes.
And so you were in the hospital for about a week. And by the way, why did you do that?
I mean, she was just such a happy baby, and she had so much going on internally and, like, had every reason to be upset. And I couldn't not help. I mean, I knew that I could be a possible match, so I was healthy and just wanted to do it. I mean, it really was such a small sacrifice compared to saving a life.
By the way, we were about to interview Kiersten, and we found out that Talia was here, and she said, "Do you want me to bring Talia over?" And I did not expect to see such not just a well-behaved, but a beautiful, talented, camera-ready. By the way, she immediately gave me a high five and smiled. What do you think and feel when you hold her right now?
It's just, I mean, it's kind of like a miracle. It's crazy. We'll be connected for life, and it's just amazing. I was just looking at a picture just like a few minutes ago of her in August, and she was yellow and so tiny. I had a Gatorade bottle next to her, and she looked like so tiny. And she's like a whole new baby now, and to know that I was a big part of that is just really, really crazy.
Being recognized today, I know you obviously did not do it to be recognized. What are you thinking and feeling today?
I mean, like you said, when I did it, I didn't really think anything of it. I told my family and friends, but I didn't think it was a big deal. And the positivity, I mean, just being honored here, it just makes me want to keep paying it forward and helping others and striving for my goals.
And finally, your message to everyone else who says, I can't make a difference like that. You say?
I mean, you can. You think a small thing, like something that you think is small, could be a huge impact on someone else's life. And I think you need to stop like necessarily thinking what other people will think about what you, like if you want to help someone or if you want to do something, and just do it and be the best that you can be.
Finally, what are your wishes, your hopes for Talia?
I really just want her to live a full life. And I mean, I would love her to be connected with me. And for me, I just want like each year, maybe on the date of surgery, to do something special and keep the special bond. But I mean, it's her life, but I would hope for her to just pay it forward like I did.
I have a feeling you're going to be connected for a long time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're meeting another terrific honoree at the Russ Berrie Making a Difference Awards. He is Charles Valentine. Valentine House, you started it because you care deeply about a group of people who are often ignored. What is Valentine House?
The Valentine House are single-family homes. When people have finished their recovery or in recovery, rather than moving back to the same people, places, and things, we have beautiful homes, one-family homes in beautiful areas. Men with men, women with women. We have homes in Bergen County, Hudson County, and Passaic County. They're self-supported. They run it and live there as a family.
These are people who are recovering from drug and alcohol addiction?
Drug and alcohol addiction. We've had men and women. Men stay up to 5 years. They completed college. They moved on. One is working on Wall Street. Another one has just finished with college. She'll be moving on. Women have gotten their children back by living in the homes. Children have gotten their parents back, through living at the homes.
Why did you do this?
I realized I was in a long-term addiction, 36 years, and when I finally come out of the rehab, I realized and watched others going back to the same people's places and things, so nothing really changed. So it allows them to enter back into the community as a family, living as a family, learning how to live that way and caring for each other.
So wait, from your own addiction, you decided to help others?
Oh, yeah. It was so clear to me when the obsession was lifted to use drugs that I needed to tell others, and I finally had the right words to speak to others that I would partner with them going through their recovery.
What's it feel like today, this event?
It feels like
I see a big smile on your face already.
It confirms that I'm doing the right thing, and it's the right thing to do. Coming out of that dark, ugly past that I lived in, to come to the other side of that, how dare me not help someone that's broken. Now I feel complete. After all these years of multiple businesses, 8 businesses I had at one time, and it just didn't have a direction. Now I feel like I have meaning and purpose.
To see more Caucus New Jersey with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD. And follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
I will say that we are honored and pleased to be introducing Brenda Antinore, the $25,000 Russ Berrie Making a Difference awardee. When your name was announced, and I was proud to be able to announce your name, what were you thinking and feeling?
It was just really overwhelming for me to even be nominated and be here today. It's not really anything that I ever expected in my life. So as names were being called and then mine got called, it was just like, I really honestly can't believe this is happening. I was just so overwhelmed, which like just from the heart, you know, just so grateful. Yeah, really grateful.
So the Make a Difference Awards that Russ and Angelica started with these other people so many years ago was dedicated to recognizing people who are doing extraordinary things. And your organization, Seeds of Hope, and She Has a Name. Let's talk about She Has a Name. She Has a Name is all about what? Because when I was watching that video about you, I mean, I was blown away. Describe it.
The name, She Has a Name, is really significant because the ladies that we're blessed to really care for.
In Camden, New Jersey.
Camden, right on Broadway. We live on 1700 South Broadway. Are women who, you know, came from our neighborhoods, who were someone's mother, someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone's friend, and have just lost their way in life and are hopeless, addicted. Most of the time, all the ladies we see almost to a woman are addicted to heroin and other drugs and just completely hopeless and resort to prostitution as a means to really, you know, fuel their habit. And, you know, we know the labels that, you know, people like to assign in our world. And I think that was one of the most heartbreaking things, you know, even from personal implosion, having a world and a career and a level of status, and then to implode personally and then realize that nobody cared, nobody really wanted to.
In your own life?
In my own life, yeah. I was a high school health teacher. My husband was an attorney, and in the early 90s, we imploded and ended up in that same neighborhood. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't trade that for the world now. If you had asked me 25 years ago, like, we have 6 children, and, you know, I have a lot of grandchildren now, just to experience redemption through the kindness of one person. And I love that about just learning more about the award today, that, you know, when everyone we knew in the world was heading for the hills, except for a few families.
Running away from you.
Oh, away from us, big time. This woman who lived behind us in this big neighborhood, 4 kids under 5, just started dropping kind, like, hey, if you ever want to talk, you know, my house is always open to you. Or she would see me, and instead of pretending she didn't see me, she would try to engage me just in a general, not telling me like what I needed to do or didn't I know I should do this or that. And her example was so compelling. Like, that level of kindness just really attracted me to her and really began the reroute of my life. And really to that day and to this day, everything that the ministry really is involved in really is directly related to what we received.
Talk about what you do for them in terms of help and services.
Yeah, so we've had a 12-year street presence that really began just seeing these young women on Broadway. And I realized, you know, I'm a mother. I have a almost 1-year-old daughter, and it was summer, it was hot. The girls were just dehydrated, and literally we drove back home. We lived in the suburbs in West Stepford. We loaded our coolers up. We drove back into town. My husband drove. There's no men involved in this part of the ministry. And I just jumped out. And, you know, the girls were grateful, but it gave me a segue to share, hey, let me tell you where I used to be. It's really an asset for what we're called to do, because people can really connect to, you've been there? Like, you, Miss Brenda? Like, you were there? Like, yeah, you lost your teaching license. Yeah, you have kids. You would leave your kids at your mom's and drive down to Camden at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, this same block where you're sitting.
What do these women need?
What do they need? They need love. We don't identify the women in any label like that. That's why their name is so powerful. And they just need to know that there's hope. And
but I'm going to press you a little bit. You take them in. You give them shelter. You give them food. You take care of hygiene issues. You really help them with the basics as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, so my husband would say it's bait, the food and stuff. But really, if somebody's hungry or they're thirsty and you're hoping to even engage them, they can't hear you because those basic needs are not being met. Yes, the women shower. We have a mudroom and a shower in the house. We provide them with clothing. Not me, like, you know, just give them the tangible things that we all frankly take for granted. Like the stuff that I have in my closet that I, you know, might not even wear in a year. Like I can give that pair of jeans to somebody, that toiletry bag, those kind of things. But mostly it's that opportunity to build the relationship.
Finally, what does it feel like being here today with these very special people?
Overwhelmed to be able to be here and hear what all these other people are doing where they are just because they have a burden. And I know love motivates them to do what they do because you don't do that. I'm really just I'm overwhelmed, actually. Just the people are incredible. One story was more incredible than the next, and you could have given that award to any single solitary person that was here sitting, and every person that went up, I'm like, I can't believe they didn't win. I can't believe they didn't win. It was crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We've concluded this extraordinary event, 21 years of the Russ Berrie Making a Difference Awards. Angelica Berrie was the final speaker. She brought some of her friends together today here at Ramapo. Every year I interview you. I think you're pretty much the last interview I do. I don't know. We were just saying to each other, I'll get right to the point with the question, I promise. I said to you on stage, we said to each other that somehow it gets even more meaningful every year. Why do you think that is?
I think every year that you age, you feel more vulnerable, you know, and you understand what it's like to be vulnerable in a place where you don't have resources, and to know that there's all these people who are doing so much for someone who, but for the grace of God, we would be in those shoes, you know. So we are so lucky, and every year I think we feel that sense of gratitude for just being able to be here, to be alive, and to know that there's people like this doing such incredible things.
That is it. I mean, you have to, when you're watching this program, you'll see, and you've been watching these interviews throughout this broadcast, from a young woman who had this little baby in her arms who was 9 months old. She was a babysitter, she was a nanny, and then she gives a part of her liver. That started getting to me. And then you hear all these other people. You've met hundreds, moving into thousands of people, and it still moves you. I want to ask you this. How hard is it to pick the winners?
Thank God I don't...
There's a committee.
Thank God I don't have to do it, because I think that every nominee is a winner. When you think about 2,900 people doing good, they all deserve it, you know? They all deserve some award. And just think that's only the tip of the iceberg in New Jersey. Think of all the others who don't even think that what they're doing is such a special big deal. And it is. It makes a difference even if only one person is affected.
And it was so interesting, Angelica, is that many of the people we spoke to who are talking to each other, and I know that's part of why you and the foundation are so committed to this, they say they're making connections with each other, they're starting to share ideas with each other, and other things are going to happen out of that, some of which we'll know about and some of which we never will.
But more important is that they're encouraged to see others who, you know, this is a thankless kind of job. Many people do it. They don't expect to be thanked. And to see each other gives them energy. It inspires them to keep going and to know that there's others like them who are doing the same wonderful things.
And finally, the message to everyone watching right now who, A, think they can't really make a difference, and B, could know of someone who is making a difference. A, those who say, I can't make a difference, what do you say to them?
we all can make a difference, one small act at a time. And that's what my message is. Philanthropy is the gift of who you are. And every person here gave of themselves, and everything they've done is so personal to them, whether it's giving a part of their own body or giving the time to make a difference for people in jail. You know, it's very personal what they're doing, and it's an expression of who they are. So we too can do it.
And finally, if they know of someone, I'm not really pitching, but I am doing this. It's important that if you know of someone who you believe is making a difference, what should someone do? Because all these people were nominated.
I think they should contact Ramapo and send a glowing testimonial. And that's really what it is. It's we need to find these people because they don't go out looking to advertise what they're doing.
They don't promote themselves.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Angelica.
Thank you, Steve.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, the Fidelco Group, ADP, Adler Aphasia Center, the North Ward Center, Georgian Court University, and by MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
Hi, I'm Eric. You might see me as an ordinary person, but I've been living with a brain injury for nearly 2 years. One of my struggles is short-term memory loss. At Opportunity Project, I'm given hope and support, and I've gained my comments back through the job placement program. Despite my challenges, I have a reason to keep improving. Today, even though life has changed me, I believe that anything is possible.
If you have a brain injury, you don't have to face your road to recovery alone.